right now, but this is unbelievably low. Look, there we go. We have a fail safe, and I don't have to go. Yeah.
Back when I started FPV, I did not have a lot of money to spend on my equipment. As such, I was using only fly sky equipment, which is severely outdated and was not reliable at all. Even though it did give me at least 1 to 2 kilometers of range, I did not trust it enough to fly around obstacles and still maintain my control link. I'm talking 3 or 4 years ago, and this was when Express LRS was something that nobody had even heard of. During this time, everyone who was serious about FPV drones was using Crossfire, so either the Tango 2 or a Crossfire external module in their radio. Now, instead of getting Crossfire, I made a bold decision to just go with ELRS, which is something completely new to me. I picked up an FrSky R9M transmitter module and receiver combo and flashed it with Express LRS. And when I put it on my drone, I expected to go miles and miles without having any range issues. But unfortunately, my experience was not that good. This was my first flight after I had installed all the ELRS equipment, and I flew my drone on the same path that I used to on my FlySky systems without any issues. And look what happened. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but I did learn a valuable lesson that Express LRS is not to be trusted. Despite this bad initial first impression, I did not give up on ELRS. Instead, when Happy Model released their first Express LRS custom transmitter module and receiver, I instantly picked that up and installed it in my systems. And from that point on, Express LRS has been literally perfect for me until recently. While my first Express LRS equipment was sort of budget and not that amazing, it still gave me so much range and reliability that radio signal was something I never even worried about until recently. For the past 2 years, I have been using the Radio Master Boxer 1W Express LRS internal built-in radio, and I've used that with many receivers such as the Radio Master RP1, the Happy Model EP1, and the Beta FPV Nano receivers. Even the ones with the tiny ceramic antennas, and I've never had any issues with range. I've gone over 5 kilometers with my link quality staying consistent and my RSSI dBm maintaining a solid 100 or 105 dBm. Now coming on to the topic of this video, I'll tell you about my problem. Up until recently, I've been using the Radio Master RP1 receiver in my drone. Now recently, a good friend of mine started having similar range issues with his drone. At first I thought, okay, it's just that your receiver has gone bad, so we'll just change that out and that'll be it. So what I did was I took out the RP1 from my drone and I put it in his drone, and that was covered. That was the end of the matter. And I thought, okay, I'll get a replacement receiver for myself. Little did I know that was just the start of the problem. Fortunately for me, I had a spare Beta FPV receiver laying around, so I just installed that in my quad and I thought, okay, we're good to go. And then one weekend when I charged up my batteries and I took my drone out to fly, I was flying in the same area where I had gone more than 5 kilometers before. It was clear open spaces with no trees or anything. And what I noticed was completely unbelievable. Just a mere 200 meters from my start point, with no obstacles between myself and the drone, I had a failsafe. I was surprised and I thought maybe, okay, it's a loose antenna or I've damaged something in my installation. I thought, okay, maybe it's just a mistake from my end. I've perhaps not connected the antenna or something got damaged. So I took everything apart and I started my investigation. It can be anything from a burnt radio module to a bad receiver to just a damage or a kink in your antenna wire. And all of those can give you really bad range from a system that goes more than 100 kilometers on just 250 milliwatt. So what ended up being the issue in my drone? Well, that's something I've yet to figure out. I started my investigation by just simply ordering a new receiver. I just thought that the receiver I had laying around was simply defective, and I ordered a new Gemsu one from AliExpress. And once it arrived to Pakistan, I installed it in my drone. I flashed the Express LRS firmware on both the transmitter and the receiver to make sure everything matched. And then I went to fly. And what surprised me was that I'm getting the same exact range issues that I had on the previous receiver. That led me to believe that, okay, maybe the issue is with my transmitter. So that's something I need to investigate now. On the transmitter side of things, we have our Express LRS 1 watt internal module from the RadioMaster Boxer, which has never given me any issues, and I can tell you for a fact that I have never powered it on without the antenna. As directed in the Express ELRS Starters Guide, I did a bench test and my results were interesting. When the receiver was powered on and the transmitter is just 1 meter away from the quad, we're expected to have an RSSI dBm of maybe -25, -40, at max -50. But in my case, I found that even while next to the drone, my RSSI dBm was -60. And when I went to the next room, I found that the signal dropped massively, down to even -90 and -100 if I went even a few balls away, which is not expected from this system. So what are my next steps on this? How am I going to troubleshoot this? Well, I've already tried a new receiver. In fact, I've tried 3 receivers and the issue persists across all 3 of them. So my next course of action would be to try it with a different radio. So that's what I'm going to do today. I called up a friend who has a RadioMaster TX12 and he actually uses an external 2.4 GHz TX module with his radio. And I'm going to try 2 things with his radio. First, I'm going to try just binding my drone to his radio and see if I'm getting a good connection. If I am, then what I'm going to try next is I'm going to take his antenna and put it on my RadioMaster Boxer, and that's going to help me eliminate any issues with the antenna of my radio. So let's go try it out. Borrowed the radio from my friend. Now I'm going to use this to troubleshoot my setup. All right, here I have my drone. Then this is the Boxer that I'm using, the one that has the issue perhaps. And here is the TX12. So right now the drone is on and the Boxer should be connected. Boxer should be connected. Okay, it's connected now. And let's go into the telemetry. And we are getting a RSSI dBm value of -67, around -70 even. The drone is right next to it, like that's barely any distance. Now, if we go over to the Express ELRS documentation in the Quick Start Guide, we'll find the Before First Flight section, which actually contains the bench test that we're doing right now. Now, in this test, it says that with a distance of 1 meter between the drone and the transmitter, we're expecting around -40 to -25 dBm on 2.4 GHz hardware. Clearly, that's not what we're getting, as we're getting a value of -70, which is a problem. All right, now I have the receiver in bind mode on my drone, and I'm going to connect the external module on this TX12.
Telemetry connected.
Here we go. Okay, I have the power down to 25 milliwatt. And let's go see the telemetry now. Oh, okay, that didn't make a difference. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm getting the same results, if not worse. We've eliminated issues with the receiver. We've eliminated any issues with the transmitter. Now the only thing left was to check if the issue is from the flight controller. So what I did was I just opened up my 5-inch drone and I removed the receiver from this one. And I fortunately had another SpeedyBee 35 with an F4 flight controller, and I installed the receiver in this one. And I'm really hoping that this fixes the issue, because honestly I don't know what else to try after this. Alright, so I have the receiver wired up to another drone of mine. This one has the SpeedyBee F4, and I'm gonna run the same test, first on the Boxer and then on the TX12.
Telemetry connected.
There we go. Now let's go into the model settings and see what numbers we're getting. An RSSI dBm of minus... I mean, it's about the same, honestly. Okay, so we're back to where we started. I've done a lot of tests on both of the radios and I can't seem to get this value to go to whatever it's expected. As you can see, I've tried pretty much everything and I'm at my wit's end. I can't seem to figure out what the next step should be. I've tried everything from ordering a new receiver and trying different antennas. I even opened up my radio to see if the connection to the module is intact. And when I had pretty much just narrowed it down that the issue was within my radio, I went and borrowed a radio from a friend, and even then I couldn't figure out what the issue was. Like, I'm getting the same results on both radios, and I'm just not sure where to go next from here, because I'm still getting bad range on my radio. I'm fail-safing it like 100-200 meters. I haven't done a flight with my friend's radio. Maybe that's something that I'll plan to do next. And I even put in the receiver into a new flight controller to see maybe if it was the flight controller that was causing the issue, but apparently not, because I'm getting the same results. If any of you have any advice or suggestions on what else I can do with Express ELRS, just how I can get this to work, because I don't know what else I can do. Now, I know this is really disheartening for anyone who loves flying, to just be grounded and stuck trying to troubleshoot between softwares and building and opening up your drone and stuff like this. But to be honest, this is what my first experience with Express ELRS was, and gave me a lot of experience that allowed me to help a lot of other pilots that were facing similar issues. Unfortunately, I'm stuck at a dead end right now, but I'm not giving up and I'm going to continue using this system. I'm sure I'll figure something out, and if I do, I'll definitely keep you guys updated. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and if there's anything else you'd like to see, please do drop a comment, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.